What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Trav Torch Show, episode number 5. I'm your host, Trav Torch, aka the R&B superhero. If you are watching on YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit that comment button. Let us know what you think. If you're listening on something else, then do what you could do there. We appreciate it. It helps a lot. And today's episode number 5. Omar Wilson remakes a classic. Omar Wilson, what's up, my brother?
Man, blessed and highly favored, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you a lot, man. Thanks for having me.
Man, thank you so much for being on the show. Before we get started, I want to explain to the audience exactly how I found you. I follow this R&B Instagram page, and they posted the Secret Garden cover art. So I looked at it. I'm like, Secret Garden. So I saw Sisqo, Raheem DeVaughn, Shawn Stockman, and Omar Wilson. And the first thing I thought of was, who was Omar Wilson? And yeah, I had never heard of you prior to this record. And like I said, when I saw the title, Secret Garden, I'm like, yo, it's hard to redo a record of that caliber, especially with Quincy Jones producing and writing. You had the whole Michael Jackson team with Rod Temperton
Yes,
record,
yes.
and then Al B. Shore, James Ingram, El DeBarge, and Barry White. So I listened to the record, and I'm like, yo, this record is fire. And I thought, like, for a remake, that it was great for the culture.
Yes,
So
sir.
I commented on your page and I said, I don't know how you pulled this off, but it's been on repeat. And you responded with years of hard work and God's favor, my bro. Thank you for the support.
That's
And
it.
that left a lasting impact on me because I'm like, this dude is humble enough. This dude got a record with Sisqo, Raheem DeVaughn, Shawn Stockman, and he's humble enough to respond to regular people just commenting that people you don't know just commenting. And I think that's big. It's definitely big to be humble and to thank people who appreciate your music. So
Yes, sir.
so if you don't mind, tell us about you, where you're from, how you got into music, all that good stuff, or how you got the nickname the Black Frank Sinatra.
Right. Well, first of all, man, I am regular people. You know what I mean? I am the struggle. I am the underdog. I am the one they counted out. So when I think about why God made me wait so long, because I've watched a lot of people rise to success.
Right.
And I've been around everybody. Everybody knows who I am. I always say I'm like the Tarzan of R&B. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like they threw me into the wilderness, into the jungle, hoping that I get eaten up by a lion or a tiger or something.
Right.
And all those animals became my friends. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
So right now, this is actually the redemption for me. It's like there's one thing about when God do something, man, and you believe, man, and you stay diligent to that belief. He makes things happen that almost seem impossible.
Definitely.
Which this record, you know, is one of those things. And definitely shout out, you know, the big homie Shawn Stockman, Raheem DeVaughn, and Sisqo, you know, for allowing me the opportunity to really show who I've always been. And it took the bright stars that they are to shine the light on who Omar Wilson is. You know what I mean? So once again, shout out to those brothers.
Right.
And part of my transition, I really feel like, is to let so-called everyday people know that they can be stars, no matter how long, no matter how hard the journey. And it's to let stars and superstars know and remind them that they're still people.
That's deep.
Remind them where they started from and who they was.
That's deep.
And what allowed them to become the juggernauts and the entities that they are now. You know what I mean? So it's definitely been, even for me, like a big epiphany, man, of just everything that I've been through, and the culmination of diligence and faith, perseverance, self-love, and taking no for an answer. You know what I mean? So the record, I mean, unfortunately, if it wasn't for the situation that the world is in, this record may not have ever came about, because those three brothers would have been on their normal 1-2, traveling the world doing their thing. So how it came about was, you know, I actually was going to do the record with another gentleman, and the business and just our paths didn't connect correctly. So when I came back to Lou Humphreys, which is the owner of my label BSC and my brother Jazz Joyner, because those brothers are the cats that produced the record. They came back to me like, yo, what's up with the Secret Garden joint? And I was like, well, I'm still talking to the cat. It ain't really jump off. It was like, well, we really want to do the record. Who do you see on the record if that doesn't work out? And I had chopped it up with the big homie Raheem DeVaughn in LA. I was nominated for NAACP Image Award 2018 going into 19 for Outstanding New Artist.
Okay.
And when I met the guy, it was an instant connection. We chopped it up, real brother, real lion talk. And, we, exchanged numbers and was like, yo, we definitely going to keep in contact. So that was the first brother I had Lou reach out to. And he agreed to be a part of the record and recorded his verse, sent it back, and it was amazing. It was it was just the perfect start off to make sure that this classic record was done correctly.
But so how did y'all decide who was gonna sing which part?
I had already picked James Ingram because it was in my voice range.
Right.
Ra, I think he chose. It kind of like a collaborative effort of that for him to do Albie Short's part in the beginning. And once he laid down the vocals, it was evident.
Right.
So then my publicist and Shawn Stockman, we have the same publicist. So my publicist reached out to Shawn, told him about the situation, and with God's blessing, he agreed as well.
Dope.
And then my manager knew Sisqo's people, so he reached out to them, and that's how the whole synergy just came together.
That's dope. So, and I'm assuming that based off of how you described the process, that it was recorded remotely, like everybody.
Yeah, it had to be because and it was nobody traveling at that time, and we didn't want to wait until figuring out when this situation is over to go ahead and get the record done, because the song is actually my first single off of an album that I'll be releasing end of this month called Omar Wilson Sings the Classics.
Okay.
So we wanted to set it up in a way where, it allowed my album to gain some legs and polarity as well. Plus, my whole career, because I think I've been in the shadows for so long, I've always tried to accomplish things that were so-called impossible and could make or break my career.
Right.
Like prior to this record, I did another rendition of James Brown's A Man's World with Al Green's original band in Memphis at Royal Studios, which was Al Green's original studio. Shout out to Royal Studios, Boo Mitchell, all them, Mitchell family. And when I did that record, it was like, you want to redo A Man's World by James Brown? Are you sure that you want to do that to your career?
Well, you two for two.
Like,
you 2 for 2.
Well, I appreciate that, especially coming from a professional like yourself that knows R&B and that we need it. It's a time where, they were spinning R&B as it's gone. It's whatever. I think that was foolish in itself. But
Yeah.
I can tell the whole world right now it's back and it's not going nowhere. And Omar Wilson will make sure that it becomes the juggernaut it always has been and be right alongside pop and popular rap music.
Yeah, you know what? As an artist, I'm amazed at how polished the record sounds with y'all having recorded it remotely. Because I'm listening to the background arrangements that like how y'all harmonize it. I'm like, yo, it almost felt like y'all were together with a vocal producer saying,
Wow.
You sing this part, you sing that. So that's, having been in the studio, that's crazy.
Well, I appreciate your perspective, especially coming from someone that does what I do. So
Right.
You know the difficulty that it takes to accomplish something just with one artist.
Yeah.
Let alone four, and also appeasing each one of those individuals because they are so great. I want to also pay homage to them and make sure that they got the best of their self. And I will give that credit to my big homie Lou Humphreys, once again, which is the owner of the label I'm signed to, BSC Recordings. He truly was the mastermind vocally of making sure that everybody was put in the correct pocket to accomplish greatness on this record, knowing that we're working hard on standing on the shoulders of Quincy Jones.
Right.
And we never want to disrespect any R&B artist, but especially we don't want to disrespect an iconic figure such as him.
So did you receive the blessings of Quincy Jones or anyone involved from the original record?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The blessings are still coming in. You know, we reached out to Albie Shore. You know, we're still waiting for his full response on, giving his full blessing to the record. But we do have Quincy's camp in our giving the thumbs up to the song. So that's definitely a major part of it. You know, we got a write-up in Rolling Stones magazine.
I saw that.
Which was, for me, just, once again, it's like graduating magna cum laude from Howard University. You know what I'm saying?
That's love, brother.
And and the record took about 2.5 months to mix.
I was going to, you know what, I was going to ask you about that because I also engineer my own stuff. So I like for my voice to sound a certain way and all that type of stuff. So I was thinking about the mixing process with four different artists. Like, did one
Correct.
person mix it, or you had everybody wanted their guy to mix their vocals? Or how was that decided?
Well, the blessing was the cat that we rock with. I believe he had worked with Raheem DeVaughn and Sisqo prior, but we didn't want to add too much confusion to it. One, because we didn't have a timetable to really go. I mean, it still took 2 months, but to make sure that everybody was correctly appeased, we did the record. We sent out references. We asked opinions. We got back what was comfortable to each individual, and then Lou and Jazz, salute to my brother because he's the cat who produced it as well. Jazz Joyner. They just made sure that everyone was comfortable with the final product. So that's also what made it a blessing, because every individual gave their thumbs up. Dope. And I think that's what made the synergy of the record be as great as it is right now.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I mean, 2.5 months to mix that record, and you hear every bit of that. You hear every bit of that.
A lot.
And it almost, like I said, I almost would have thought that y'all were together with the way that it was recorded and mixed. I think that's especially during the pandemic, I think that's a great accomplishment.
Man.
And your part in particular, I mean, usually if you hear like three legends and some other person that you never heard of, you like, well, this person is probably gonna be swimming to try to. You held your own, man. You did. You wasn't swimming at all. You was floating on the record with them, man. So that's,
thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. That's big. If you're watching on YouTube, you see my video keeps going in and out. I apologize for that. I'm trying out a new camera, so just bear with me if you're watching on YouTube. But so where you from?
Originally from Connecticut, Norwalk, Connecticut. You know what I mean? But I ran through the whole state. I left Connecticut when I was 17 and started my musical career. So I've lived in North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta, California. Just nomading around, finding where music took me. And it brought me back to New York City. That's where I really made my name as a singer, performing at major showcases and just trying to get my voice everywhere I could in the city. I ended up, being blessed to become a 3-time Apollo winner.
Dope.
And really gaining polarity through that. So when I say where I'm from, I'm from a little bit everywhere, fam. You know what I mean?
And how'd you come up with the name or the Black Sinatra, or did somebody give it to you?
Okay, the Black Sinatra. Well, me and one of my homeboys from Just Right Studios. Shout out to Just Right Studios. That's my stew in Connecticut. So my fam Kels, shout out J Rock and Kels, we was talking about just, my transition, and he had said, like, yo, you need to move like Frank Sinatra. We was talking about Frank Sinatra and Sammy the Bull. And he was like, you know what? He's like, you need to move like Frank Sinatra did, because he was powerful. He did it his way. He was a gangster. He was a gentleman. And he was one of the greatest voices to ever touch the mic. And he did so much for black music as well.
Right.
which I don't know if a lot of people know. So when I did the research, first of all, the studio that I'm at, Just Right Studios, was a studio that was built for Frank Sinatra in the late 60s. You
Wow.
know what I mean? So that how that all works into the matrix is crazy. Like he recorded the studio that I call home now. And after chopping up with fam, started doing the research. Sam Cooke was called the Black Sinatra. In that era, he was as powerful and as big as Frank, but of course, they couldn't deem him the greatest because we're still having trouble as black men getting our just due.
Right.
So they dubbed him the Black Sinatra, which is still giving him the same respect. So that just signed and sealed the deal for me because, of course, Sam Cooke is one of my biggest influences and one of the greatest. So he's the king of soul music. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that just solidified it for me. And then I think I ended up seeing a documentary on Frank Sinatra, and then I found out that Quincy Jones was his musical director.
Wow.
So, I mean, moving forward, to even have Secret Garden as the record that will, God willing, transition me to superstardom, it's all stars aligning, man. It's all stars aligning.
Have y'all been able to perform it live together yet, or is that something that's going to be coming?
Yes, sir, that will be. We're actually in the process right now of figuring out where we're going to shoot the video. We're
Man.
probably going to be shooting it in the next couple of weeks, and that is going to be together. So once we get the video shot, we'll be able to chop it up for the first time, as 4 individuals on one accord. And definitely, I mean, look forward to seeing, God willing, a Secret Garden tour and us performing that record all over the world. And I see now, like, just especially on YouTube, shout out to everybody on YouTube that's showing so much love. The comments, keep the comments coming, keep subscribing. People are now like, y'all gonna do an EP? Is there an album coming? Is what's going on? So I believe once we culminate and chop it up and get this video shot, then we'll be able to discuss together about moving forward. But definitely, we do want to perform that record all over the world.
Hey, I think that's dope. I think that's dope, and it's exactly what R&B needs right now. Um,
Thank you.
our R&B it's been, I want to say, almost corrupted by a lot of the sing songy hip
That
hop.
ain't almost.
Yeah,
It ain't almost. It's been corrupted.
it's been watered down, and I believe it was watered down personally by the labels
Definitely. Definitely. On purpose.
on purpose. Just so I this is a big moment right now in R&B. And I hope that the video takes off and y'all do the whole tour, and even the EP would be incredible right now.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
so tell me about working with Angie Stone and DMX.
Wow. Oh man,
Yeah, I
Angie
did
Stone got a
research.
record. Wow.
I did some
I
research.
appreciate you, my brother.
Yep.
I appreciate you. That means a lot, man. That
Yep.
means a lot. Angie Stone, I did a record with Angie Stone a couple years back. I ended up flying to Atlanta. I had the hook and my first like 4 bars of the record. And I actually didn't want to write any more of it until I got into the studio with Angie because she's a phenomenal arranger and songwriter herself. And I always want to learn,
Right.
especially for people that have what my father would say, OJT, God rest his soul, on the job training. You know what I mean? And being that she was a seasoned veteran in the game, I wanted to show that I know what I'm doing, and I am a writer myself, but I also wanted to get her opinion and critiquage and vibe. So got to the studio. I think we had like a 18-hour session. Got
Wow.
in, we chopped it up for like 20 minutes, you know what I mean? Real down to earth, just real black queen. Let her hear what I had, and instantly she just started writing and then asking me, put me in the booth, and she was like, yo, sing this line. Try that out. What about sing this harmony? And my brother, I think within like 2 hours, we had the song done. Hook, a bridge, background vocals, harmonies, ad libs, everything. She was a phenomenal coach to me at that time, because it was definitely years back when I first started songwriting, and she made it so comfortable. You know what I mean? For me to just be who I am as an artist. So definitely shout out to Angie and helping me become who I am right now. And I even look forward to that record. I mean, if it spins back around, shooting a video for that one as well, and bringing that record back to the forefront, because it is a phenomenal song. Like you
Right.
said, it was just the timing in R&B and everything that was going on. It's almost like they didn't want the feeling.
Yeah.
They wanted everybody numb and zombies.
Mad at each other,
And
doing drugs,
yeah, you know, and being weirdos.
and not
You know
loving
what I'm
and
saying?
not loving our women.
Well, that's my synopsis on it without getting too deep into the game.
Yeah.
Soul music and R&B has always been the fabric that ties in love, family, loving your woman. Even for the cats out there that don't know how to say I love you, but really got that love and could end up messing up the person that's theirs forever by not expressing itself. You know, brothers like us, we're the translators for them. You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean? And if you remember, like, you know, when Motown first came out, it was Motown's vibe and songs and energy that eradicated the racial barriers
Right.
that made black and white get together. So that's scary to individuals that don't want that. They don't want the love. They don't want to see people elevate and vibrate on a higher level. And the fortunate thing about this pandemic is it's taken every single person that was numb, that was just doing whatever, and it's made them sensitive to what's really going on in life.
Right.
Because no matter if you got $1 or if you got 300 mil, you was touched by this situation. So now, while the world's wound is completely open and it is receptive to the energy and the vibe of what R&B and soul music brings, it's the opportune time for us to take our rightful place again and get back to where we need to be.
I think the blessing about it all is the fact that the powers that be no longer have a monopoly on our content. So there's so many different platforms out there where, because I don't think people ever stopped wanting to hear R&B. They just stopped giving it to them on the major platforms. So
Of
now that there's
course.
now that there's so many different platforms where people can get it, they can't stop us anymore. You know,
Can't stop
they
us.
can't even you know, even this show. I mean, this show I just decided, hey, let me start a show, and then now I got a show. You know, what I mean, it's
Wow.
just that simple. But but
and
I
I'm and
think
I'm and I'm proud and blessed to be on it.
and
Best believe it.
I'm blessed that you came. But I'm enthusiastic about everything because now they don't have the power anymore to tell us, nah, don't make that type of music. We can't sell it. We just making that type of music, and we gonna find it.
Right.
What 7 billion people, 8 billion people, 6, 7 billion people in the world. You could find your niche. You could find your fan base.
Correct. And we could sell it, man.
Yeah,
They just didn't want to sell it because
yeah,
it's easier to sell what they selling. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? But and like I said, right now it's about vibrating on a higher level, and it's about putting it back in perspective where they see that R&B soul music has the same potential as any other pop or rap record. That when you say urban AC, you thinking small money. You still thinking big money,
Right.
and it's all about putting it in their face. And I'm blessed that I can be one of the bulldozers to really put it right back into where it needs to be, and let people know that, like you said, R&B ain't never go nowhere. And
Right.
how dare you say it's dead?
Right.
Because if R&B and soul is dead, every other music out here wouldn't exist.
Exactly.
Rap, rock and roll, everything that people get money off of would not happen if it was not for R&B and soul music and blues.
Right.
So pay homage, or you will have to.
Eventually. Yep. So
Eventually, meaning
so
now.
so with you being a songwriter, what made you decide to focus on the cover song route?
Because I knew that in order for me to transition as fast as possible, and being that there is a million pieces of music out there, I wanted to identify with something that people already have in their spirit,
Mm,
but also tackle it from a space where there's not too many people that can do it. There's not too
right.
many people that can sing James Ingram. There's not too many people that could sing James Brown, David Ruffin,
Right, right,
Teddy Pendergrass, Bobby Womack.
right,
And those individuals are on my new album, Omar Wilson Sings the Classics. You know, I did 2 songs from Teddy P. I did 2 songs from David Ruffin. I did 2 songs from Donny Hathaway, Sam Cooke, Bobby Womack, Marvin Gaye. And even when I do the research on that, there's been people that's done renditions of one of those artists, maybe done an album or a couple records, but nobody has taken 6 to 7 of the greatest soul and R&B voices ever heard on this earth and put them together on one album and accomplished success.
right,
So this is also going to be a crowning achievement for me to prove that I've always had the ability to talent. I just needed the floodlight shined on me to show my greatness.
right. Well, yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited for the album. I'm also excited as an artist and as a fan of the genre to hear what you come up with afterwards in terms of your own original material.
Yes, sir.
But I definitely think that was a brilliant strategy to get people familiar with you based off of content that they already are familiar with.
Correct. And don't trip. In the interim, I have a current album out called Living Legend, which is all original material. And like
Okay.
one of my records that we just released, 96, is doing very well. I have another record called The One that charted crazy. Another song called The Groove that is big in the Midwest right now. It's a 2-step record. So I have original material. And even with the success of Secret Garden the last couple weeks, it has allowed my original music to double and triple in views and subscribers and everything, because now people are starting to get a familiarity with who I am and my voice. And that was part of, I think, my Achilles heel at one time. Because it was like, man, well, first it was the excuse of R&B. Then it was like, well, your voice, man, like you got this real gravelly, heavy. But then I'm like, when I did the research, they had Levert. You had all types of voices like mine
Bro, listen,
that were dominating the airwaves.
your voice,
It was
your voice
everybody
cuts
wasn't sound
through,
like the Shy Lights and Prince. You know what I mean?
bro, your voice cuts through the record. I mean, you like that type of voice is like what DMX did for hip hop. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
And I almost, like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's when you look at a lot of the R&B artists that were coming out over the last 10 years, not all of them, but a lot of them, they're real short, they got high voices,
Yeah,
and
man.
it's almost like they're trying to push a certain type of artist out there and
Yeah.
to suppress everybody else and come up with every excuse for that type of suppression.
Yeah, maybe I think it's like a non-alpha maleism.
Yes.
But see,
We on the same
I'm
page.
here. We on our Lion of Judah, Alpha Male, Cro Magnum, Real Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And no disrespect to anybody that sings falsetto, the Shy Lights, Prince. These are legends. But it's time for that balance. Everybody ain't got to sing high pitch and dance all over the floor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Teddy P ain't never moved. He might have took his shirt off, unbuttoned his shirt, but his voice and the roar of what he accomplished, it transcended. It spoke to your soul. It gave you the goosebumps. The hair raised back on the back of your neck. Women started crying, dropped to their knees, just out of either the pain of his voice or the intent and what he put out. So once again, it's been a long, hard road. It's been times where I've been in major labels at the highest level, and they be like, "Yeah, you one of them real singers, like," but never got a deal.
Right.
It's like, so I guess you don't want the real singer. You want the slip and slide.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
But the gimmick.
And to each his own, to each his own. But it's time for us right now. It's time to establish R&B music and let them know that it can be edgy. It is aggressive, but still loving. It is intense. Because even when you look at rock music, a rock star could be in his 80s.
Right.
And still be treated the same way he was treated when he was in his 20s in virile. So it's the same. So it's my objective to indoctrinate that adrenaline back into R&B and to let people know that you can accomplish what they say is extinct nowadays.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of your journey, your struggle, your tenacity, and based off of all of that, everything you've been through, and you at this point right now, what advice do you have for up and coming artists who want to emulate your success?
Man, staying power, self-love, take no for an answer. Remember, most of these people are trying to trick you out of believing in yourself. And I don't care whether it's a multi-platinum producer, which I've had before tell me, quit, it's over, stop. You might as well, you smart, man. Go back to school. I used to be a school teacher for a number of years.
Oh
Like, yo,
wow.
man, just go back to school, man. Teach the kids. And I'm still in school. I'm still teaching these kids. You know what I mean? It's just now I'm teaching them that there is no limitation, only the ones you set for yourself. And most of the people that tell you no is because they believe you can do it.
Right.
And adversity is your building blocks for success. Without the pain, without the backstabbing, the betrayal, the letdowns, the roller coaster, there would be no Omar Wilson. I might be normal like everybody else. But my journey, as hard as it's been, has made me a supernova.
Yeah, rejection builds character, and iron sharpens iron. Now you
Iron sharpens iron.
now you said you were a school teacher, so you don't teach anymore?
No sir, no sir. Full. I mean, you know what? When I got with BSC Recordings and we chopped it up, I was like, you know what? If I could, at that time, it was a couple of years back, I was like, if I could still make the bread that I was making working as a school teacher, I'll quit. As much as I love the kids, like I worked at a behavioral modification school.
Okay.
My school was for, kids that they deemed like unruly, and, after they threw them out of every school, they bring them to my school. You know what I mean? Because the kids just had a lot of issues that had been through the worst lives by 10, 9, 8. And that was an awakening for me as well, because it taught me how to take the personal beef out of certain things.
Right.
Because I used to take a lot of things personal. And it ain't personal. It's just, it is what it is. It's the process of the game. So when I left the kids, I told them all, like, Mr. Wilson is going to continue, even though, because I never left my dream, even actively through being a school teacher. I was still performing, and I almost got fired a number of times because I had to fly to LA, do this, make that happen, but they work with me. But since then, I transitioned from doing that into full-time music, and I ain't looked back since.
Yeah, I think that's important for a lot of artists watching or listening to understand, is that you need to have your job, your full-time job, your full-time career, and you don't want to abandon that until you found footing somewhere else. Just like with any other job, I feel like a lot of artists want to do the shortcut and quit their job and then just jump right into the music, and it's not really responsible. So if you could just talk about the moment in which you were like, okay, I can do this responsibly. I don't know if you got kids or a family that you support.
Right, I got kids, I got 4 kids. So I had my first child when I was 17. That's the reason why I left Connecticut. Because I had my daughter when I was 17, turning 18. I was running the streets doing, my 1-2 out there. And a lot of craziness was going on. I had an opportunity to move to North Carolina. And I actually joined a rap group. I was a part of a rap group before I became a singer.
That's funny.
So,
I used to be a
shout
rapper
out.
too.
Yeah. My group was called the Lost Souls. You know what I mean? It was out of North Carolina, South Carolina. Sunshine Anderson, she started out on our first album. You know what I mean? Shout out to Sun.
Oh wow.
So yeah. So that's what began my journey. And even now, what is part of my superpower is I didn't get into the music business to become a star. I guess a star is a prerequisite of what we do, because you have to be that in order to achieve the highest level of success. But I got into this to give my daughter and my family the best financial advantage that I could. And I was like, how can I do this without causing harm to anybody? And God gave me this voice. You know what I mean? I just throwing back a little bit, I sung in church from 6 to 16. Like I sung my first solo when I was 6.
Wow.
And then after 16, that's when I started, getting into a little bit of foolishness. You know what I'm saying?
So I was going to ask you, being in a rap group first, how did you transition into singing? Or were you just learn how to sing? You like self-taught in the church?
Yes, sir. I started singing at 6 years old because I was diagnosed with like ADHD, and they wanted to give me like Ritalin and all this other craziness to slow me down. And my mom was like, nah, she was putting me in church. And then they found out I had a voice. Even back then, I was the loudest kid in the choir. So at 7, about turning 7, my first solo I sung was "Running Back to You" by Commission. And I still remember singing that song the first time and watching people cry. And I remember running off the pew to my mom's. I thought I did something wrong. She was like, nah, this is the vibe of what music does to people when it's pure and when people are open to receiving it.
Right.
So from 7 to 15, I was, singing in church, choir practice, singing in different conventions in different states, that type of thing. And then when I became of age and I, was able to be out a little bit, that's when, the whole transition started. So I ended up having my daughter. My cousins had the rap group, the Lost Souls, 3 of my first cousins, and they had moved to North Carolina because that's where the producer was. And I was rapping in the streets, and I got good at the craft, and at that time, we was having ciphers where, you be in the back of the projects with 20, 30 dudes and everybody kicked their rhyme.
Right.
And I had so much energy. And I was also writing back then because I wasn't the best freestyler without cursing and just saying whatever, that I started writing. And I loved it so much that when we came to these ciphers, I would have 30, 40, 50 rhymes written. So even the best freestyler couldn't keep up with me, because not only did I practice them and I memorized them, but I was also aggressive and in your face. So I ended up moving out of North Carolina, joining the group. And how I transitioned back was the producer ended up moving to LA and becoming a multi-platinum producer and kind of left us for dead. That's why I ain't mentioning his name right now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I had no choice but to write the hooks and sing the hooks for the rap group. So we ended up moving back up to Connecticut, New York, started performing in New York at showcases. And I would sing some of the hooks to our rap songs, and people would come up to me and be like, yo, you sing? And at that time, I thought singing was soft. So I'm like, nah, I don't sing. I just sing hooks. I'm a rapper. And time and time again, people were like, nah, my bro, you sing. So I ended up, I think, writing one of my first songs over a Nas beat. I think it was that You're the Man Nas beat. And I started singing that song with our rap set. And slowly but surely, it started taking prevalence over the rap. And my cousins came to me one day and was like, yo, oh man, you know what? We're going to disband the group. I'm like, what you talking about? I know we struggling and we going through our grind, but this is what it is when it come to, getting the superstar. They're like, nah, you know what? We're going to disband the group. You going to sing and we're going to back you. So that's
a beautiful thing.
Come on, man. And even to this day, like, who is going to give up their dream to see somebody else accomplish theirs?
They saw the big picture.
Man,
they saw the big picture.
How many people see the big picture and still don't look at the picture?
But now, now that you share that story, it makes sense how you respond to people you don't know that comment on your stuff. It's like you surround yourself with people that are humble, that see the big picture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because at the end of the day, man, and I've been blessed. I lived in Beverly Hills for a minute. I've had 4 Seasons brunch. I've gotten off the plane at LAX and had a Ferrari waiting outside. I've also been homeless. Slept in cars. Slept on a bench. Went to LA with my last $1,000. Slept on a bench for weeks. So it's like I've seen the real pit and pendulum of what this game has to offer. So it don't excite me. You know what I'm saying? Like, either way, I just stay balanced and understand that the same person that's sitting up in Hollywood Hills in that mansion overlooking the atmosphere, driving up so high your ears pop, was the same dude like me trying to make it, whether they act like it or not. So that's why I will never ever reject or treat someone that supposedly doesn't have what this person has different. I can't do it. It's not in my makeup.
That's dope, man. That's dope. So anything else you want to say before we wrap up in terms of anything you want to promote or talk about?
Well, first of all, man, I just want to say shout out to you, man. Salute to you as an artist yourself to to be to have enough humility to even want to interview another R&B artist. That just shows the king and the lion and who you are. And thank you for this conversation, because it shows me again that, we can come together. There's enough money and bread for everybody, success, women, whatever you want, drugs, whatever you want. There's enough for all of us. And it ain't got to be selfish and self-centered. You know what I mean? So thank you for just showing me again, because there was a time where I thought, man, I was like, man, it's me against the world. Everybody is on some BS, and I'm just going to mow through everything. And that wasn't good either, because then I wouldn't have been able to receive this blessing that we're having right now.
Yeah, man.
So,
I'm definitely in your corner, bro. Because the way how I see it, I don't care who brings the genre back. If one of us do it, everybody else
word.
just jump on the train and you know what I mean.
Man, it's going to be, like I said, man, even in the future, me and you jump on a record together. Be honored to work with you as well, my brother.
I'm with it,
You know what I
man.
mean?
I'm with it.
Word up.
I got an EP I'm working on. Probably going to drop it around February. It's called the Bedroom Soundtrack. You want to
Bless.
get on that? I'll set it
Bless.
up.
Hey man, matter of fact, I got a record in the pocket called Bedroom, so you know what I mean? That's
Okay.
what we do best.
Okay. Yeah. We will definitely set it up. Y'all heard it on the show first.
That's right.
Trav Torch, Omar Wilson. We'll have a
Salute.
record together, and we
That's what.
all about unity, about pushing the genre forward,
Correct.
and making this work. The independent grind, independent struggle.
Strength in numbers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So how can
Strength
people
in,
follow you and connect with you?
oh, definitely. On Instagram, I'm Omar Wilson 1, like the number 1. Facebook and Twitter is just Omar Wilson. I also have a website, that's owilson.com, OWILSON.com. Or, definitely right now, you can just Google my name, and interviews like this phenomenal one will pop up, videos, prior stuff I've done, things I've done in the past, so people can really start to cultivate a relationship with Omar Wilson. You know what I mean? And know that I've always been here for the people. I sing to make the ladies smile and be happy. And I'm the translator for the real alpha male brother that's out there fighting for love, whether it's for their family, their girl, or love of themselves.
Dope. Well, once again, Omar Wilson, thanks again for coming on the show. You're listening to the Trav Torch Show podcast, and
Salute.
we out.
Word up. Send me your info, God. Let's get this record done.
Yes, sir. ASAP.
Blessings to you.
All right, brother. Thanks. Peace.